Hello, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. It's in northwest Louisiana in our little area that we like to call the Arklatucks. It's what the local channels term the area, their little viewing area or whatever. Um, but let us be your destination. If we can't be your destination, let us be your point of stopover. We have a lot of wonderful attractions to offer, little quaint things, but also we've got some hellacious spots to party too. Uh, Whatever it is that you're looking for, come here. And if you don't find it, get with me. I'll hook you up. But anyway, um, I'm listening to this album. The album is Mad Love from Linda Ronstadt. It came out, I want to say, 1980. On the previous album, was it Hasten Down the Wind? She did a cover of an Elvis Costello song. Uh, I think that song was Allison, but I could be wrong. But she did an Elvis Costello song anyway, and they had an exchange about it, and it was somewhat complimentary or whatever. And then she suggested that he uh, um, give her a couple of other songs that she could work with. And from that, it spun off into this album, which was Linda Ronstadt's foray into new wave. And this was um, MTV had not become a thing yet. That didn't go on the air until the end of 1981. But um, music television programs like 1 hour long programs were all over the place, and it actually kind of started with these shows. Midnight Special was one where they really wanted to get you doing the performers doing live performances on their shows, and there was such a demand they couldn't be on all the shows. They couldn't always make it, so what they would do is they would do recordings of live performances, and then they would send those recording of live performances in the studio that they would do. It wasn't like concert footage. It was just studio recordings of people. They would set up a band and they would do a song. They would play a song. Uh, on this album, she does "Hurt So Bad," and that was one of the things that they did, like a stage studio recording of that song, and it was a live performance recorded, and then they sent it out to all the radio programs. That happened a lot, and those were the early music videos, and as a matter of fact, early music videos that were produced later on specifically for music channels were modeled. They followed that template. Anyway, I like Linda Ronstadt. I particularly like this particular era because it was when I was becoming aware of rock music, like rock pop music, like radio friendly, I should say. Because I was like a little kid, like 8 or 9 years old, whatever it is. But I do know, no, I was even younger than that, 7 or 8 years old, even. What I remember is that uh, December 1979. Uh, I stayed up with my folks, and I was real little. I stayed up with my folks and my family, and we watched the Rockin' New Year's, and it was my first awareness of celebrating a New Year's. Like I didn't even know I'd never even in my mind. I didn't know. I didn't know. Hey, I knew that things changed and there were years, but I didn't know that New Year's was a celebration. Whatever, whatever. Anyway, we sat up and watched it, and I remember December the 31st. I was all about um, uh, this country band called the Kendalls, and they were doing a song called "Heaven's Just a Sin Away." The That night, uh, I saw Blondie perform on TV in Times Square, and they did 3 songs: uh, "Heart of Glass," "One Way or Another," and I think "The Tide is High." Uh, from the album that was they had the album Parallel Lines, and then they had the one that came out after that, but it wasn't. I don't think it was. I think there was one in between Parallel Lines and Blondie the Huntress. I think. I don't know. It was such a long time ago. I wasn't even like collecting and listening to albums then. But yeah, no, it may have been. It may have been. Yeah, no. I know that the song that they did, Island of Lost Souls, which came out later, that was off. No, they hadn't yet done Rapture. So the album that Rapture came off of, that came in between. Uh, anyway, all I know is I remember Blondie, and then of course seeing Deborah Harry and just being like floored, just gobsmacked basically. I was like, okay, that is rock and roll, and it literally was the most rock and roll performance that year. And she would do a song and then come back in about 20 or 30 minutes and do another song because they were rotating out or whatever it is. I don't know, but that was it for me. It was like, okay, my life changed, and uh, it's great that y'all love this country music and stuff, but I'm from here. I'm a party animal. It's probably that little bitty addict inside of me. That's like, oh my god, that's what I should be doing. I should be getting fucked up, and you know. Anyway, it changed my life. Around that same time, this album came out also, and so yeah, it was great. Uh, this album, the following year, actually, there was an album, and they came out around the same time that she did the Pirates of Penzance, Linda Ronstadt, uh, and around the same time, like she did, like they did that rehearsals and everything like that, and then they did the movie and whatever. But also around that same time, it was the album to this that followed up. It was the Get Closer album, and those were the videos from that album that I started seeing Linda Ronstadt in music video, and just like, okay, well, she's got kind of a almost a matronly maternal vibe, but also uh, can rock her ass off, So it's kind of like the best of both, like a bad girl and a mother figure to like a little bitty kid. If you really want to know the truth, I think Linda, no, who was it? Um, Olivia Newton-John was real big around that time too, and especially with elementary school boys, the third, fourth, fifth grades or whatever. And the reason why I think that she was so popular there is because she had such a motherly quality. Uh, Even when she was trying to sing like naughty lyrics, she was, it was like, like I think anybody else could have done that song that she did, Physical, and could have gotten away with it, but because she was and such a Earth Mother kind of a figure or whatever, it's like, oh my God, it's Olivia, So some areas banned it or whatever, but whatever. Uh, anyway, but this is one of my favorite albums because it's not only like a rock album where there are some things that are like straightforward rock, but um, almost every track on here is a rock album, a rock song, and in that way, unlike a lot of what she's done, because a lot of her early on, Linda Ronstadt was with the Stone Ponies, and they were doing like folky songs, like folk songs that told like folk tales of stories, and then she continued that when she became a solo artist with Capitol, and Peter Asher began to produce her, and then what happened was, um, yeah, what was I? Oh yeah. I mean, she started getting more noticed for, some of the rockier kind of stuff. She wanted to be a country singer, really. When she first started out, she wanted to do country. And they were like, hey, no, or she wanted to do her rendition of country music, but they were like, no, you got to do rock and roll. So, but yeah, but so because of that, she was one of the pioneers of country rock. She arguably was the first country rock female, and then Crystal Gale and Barbara Mandrell and some of those others came after her, but she kind of set that up. Um, what else? What else? What else? Um, you know what I like about Linda Ronstadt also is that her voice is natural. Like she can sing a very structured and a very orchestrated and in a very disciplined kind of way. She can uh, sing in that way, but also when she's doing rock and roll, she has this ability to kind of like let herself go and kind of forget that. And if her voice gets raspy, if it gets a little pitchy or whatever, it really doesn't matter because she can back it up with attitude. And that's what made her such a great vocalist. And she's a, you know, a belter, you know, so that's something. Um, oh, oh no. Okay, so I think we've decided the family. I think for what that I know, I think we're gonna do Christmas dinner over at my place again, and we are looking for some different things. I think over Thanksgiving got a little turkey fatigue. Because let me tell you, I made that turkey huge, but then I sent people home with like stacks of. People were going home with like 3 or 4 uh, to-go containers, and it was like turkey and ham. Very little side dishes at all. Uh, oh, my sister made the best mashed potatoes. I was like, okay, that's a hit. That when something goes like that, you put that on the list. But I'm thinking this is just some ideas. There was kind of my sister and I were talking about it because we kind of do these things together. Uh, you know, maybe get the traditional Christmas ham, but then maybe forego the turkey. But instead of a turkey, maybe do like some sort of a roast, like a sirloin roast, prime rib kind of a thing. Uh, which is really ribeye, a large ribeye roast. But maybe get something like that. But get enough. Those things are expensive for sure, though. But you know what? It's Christmas dinner, and then like focus on the side dishes that are hits, that are winners. Those mashed potatoes is great, but then we'll also, if we do a roast, we'll also put some potatoes and some aromatics and stuff in the au jus. I've got like a tons of beef bouillon or whatever, and then it's just kind of like, what else can we do? I'm thinking this time what we could, because I haven't done it in a while, is I think we really need to do a queso with chip and dip and stuff like that. I think that's cool. What I can do is I can keep some of that warming in a pot on the stove, the queso kind of stuff, and just keep it going throughout the day, and that'll keep it uh, yeah, because that's always a hit. That's always a hit, you know. And then you know maybe do I don't know. Obviously you got to do the deviled eggs, and yeah. So yeah, and of course, got to do the ham and cheese and crackers tray, because who really loves that is my great nephew. Like we have it, we set it out. People maybe kind of pick at it, but we all know really leave that sucker alone, because that's what my nephew's taking with him, and that's his little personal little thing. That's just I don't know, become his thing. Like, oh my god, if you love it, buddy, we're gonna make sure you have it. Okay, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Going out shopping um, for gifts for the uh, you know most of them, and I'll do that Saturday. I'm doing it locally at uh, one of the um, pop up shops that are happening around town, and then anything that I don't get there, we'll get out. We'll get some uh, gifts or whatever. It's a season of giving, season of season of sacrifice, right? You give of yourself a little bit. So, um, so much fun. I love Christmas. I love Christmas. We went to no, I'm listening to this music on the Echo Dot that I won at my sister's company's Christmas party. So, and when they first came out, I remember I was like, "Oh my god!" When they first came out, there's like, I can't afford those things," and also, and then I went to visit my friend in Missouri, and he had one, and I'm like, "Wow, this is kind of neat. Okay, I could work with this." I'm not really worried about being spied on or anything. This one you actually can turn off. It's got a off button that will turn off. It doesn't really turn it off. It turns off the microphone so it can't hear you, uh, which is lovely. uh, I don't know what it means that it can't hear you. I think it means that you can't give it a command and it won't recognize the command. I think they probably, as long as this thing's plugged in and is on, I think if they wanted to, they could, the people, uh, they could reach to the interwebs and listen or whatever. But we're surrounded by those devices these days, right? Anything that has a microphone in it, So the secret is don't be a duplicitous person. You don't have to worry about that shit. Okay, so yeah, um, I think I think I've talked about a lot of stuff. I love going out and looking at the Christmas lights. I think people genuinely get just a little bit more pleasant around the holidays, even the hustle and bustle. This year, I've noticed that people are just I don't know, they've been a little bit nicer about it. When it's been crowded in the stores, people have been a little bit cheerier about it. Whereas in years past, there was kind of a grumpiness of the responsibility, the weight of the responsibility. Maybe it had something to do with the pandemic, and maybe we're still appreciative that we made it through. I don't know. Well, I'm fixing to go inside and eat some dinner. It's just a little bit of a, um, you know, uh, pork chop in the oven. Nothing special, and that's it. So I'm not really going to do like a dinner video or anything like that. I want to say to you that even if I don't know you personally, and I really don't think I know too many. I think some of my family, but uh, most people out there that my viewers I don't know personally, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. I want you to know that I do love you. I care very much about you and you and your family and your circle of people, and I hope you have wonderful holidays in whichever way that you celebrate. The Christian tradition from the Jewish Passover. Uh, any if you go all the way back to uh, just celebrating the season changes of the winter solstices, or the, agricultural. Hey, this is it's time to, cook a lot and stockpile and save and store for winter for the next couple. Um, whatever it is, I just want you to know that I care about your happiness and your well-being, and I'm so sincere whenever I say to you, love and light. God bless. Merry Christmas and good night.